Hello, my lovely little gemstones. It's Saphira, and welcome to Fluffuary, a month-long event dedicated to Sanderside ships of all kinds. This is going to be day 1, Prinxiety. The summary. Roman accidentally agrees to accompany Virgil to a haunted house. A haunted mistake. For the first time in his life, Roman was regretting just how gay he was. After all, if he wasn't such a disaster, then maybe he wouldn't have gotten himself into this situation. Virgil looked over at him curiously, then down at the hand that was clasped tightly in his. You know, Roman, we don't have to do this if you're too scared. I'm not scared, he insisted, his voice jumping an octave. Virgil was not at all convinced, he could tell, but he let it drop, which Roman was thankful for. It was all fake, he reminded himself. It was all fake, and this was something Virgil wanted to do, so he would do it, because he was a good friend, and he wanted to make sure Virgil knew he could do anything with him. The fact that he had an almost debilitating crush on him had nothing to do with it, of course. But as the guide called out for the next group to follow her, he caught sight of the blood dripping from the corners of her mouth and the fangs poking out from her lips, and cursed his past self for being so damn gay. Several days before, Roman and Virgil were hanging out at the former's house, watching TV and spending some quiet time together. Virgil had been complaining about the multiple tests and projects that he had due on Friday, and he was taking a well-deserved break. The emo teen had sat on the beanbag chair that took up most of Roman's room, tangling his fingers through Roman's hair and venting his frustrations. The TV became background noise as Roman let his friend's voice wash over him like music. It didn't matter what he was talking about. Virgil's voice would always enchant him like siren song. That was why he didn't hear the first part of Virgil's sentence. And I'd love to go, but I don't want to go alone, and none of my friends are really fans of that kind of thing. What was he talking about? Roman didn't know, but he did know that he would take any chance he could get to spend time with his friend and crush. I'll go with you, Virg. Virgil's hands paused in his hair, and Roman tried not to whine at the loss. Are you serious, Ro? I thought you hated stuff like that. Of course! If you want to go, then I'll go with you. It was then that Virgil's hands left his hair completely, but Roman didn't have time to mourn their loss, because there were suddenly arms wrapped around his shoulders and Virgil's chin was on his shoulder. Virgil was hugging him. He must be extremely excited, because Virgil didn't normally go for hugs. Thanks, Ro, you're the best. Yeah, of course. Anything for you, Virg. It'll be fun. I've heard it's the biggest haunted tour in the state. It's gonna be great. Roman's eyes widened as he realized what exactly he'd just agreed to, but Virgil was more excited than he'd ever seen him before, and he knew he couldn't back down now. Yeah, fun. Exciting. I can't wait. Roman knew he was clinging way too tight to Virgil's hand as they walked through the first area, which was themed like an abandoned hospital. When the first actor stepped out from the hallway dressed in a blood-stained gown and heaps of makeup that made their eyes look sunken in, Roman had to muster all of his courage to not turn around and run out right then and there. Hey, Ro? Look, we don't have to do this. I can come back another time. Roman shook his head, hissing back a quick reply through a forced smile. No, I'm fine. This is fun. I'm just holding your hand, so if you get scared, you know I'm here for you. Virgil snickered, and someone in front of them hushed them. Thanks, but I kinda can't feel my fingers. Mind not amputating my hand? Oh, yeah, sure, Roman told him, having to use his other hand to pry his fingers loose. He was doing this for Virgil. He had to try and make sure his friend had a good time, even if it meant he suffered through it. Roman was sure he was going to die of a heart attack. This tour was lasting forever, and every area brought a new scare. His voice was going from how much he'd screamed, and by the time they finally made it to the end, he was actually fighting back tears. His body was shutting down on him, and it was all he could do to wobble his way over to a small bench and collapse onto it. He vaguely heard the guide ask Virgil if he was alright, and if he needed anything, but it was like his head was surrounded by a raging river. Blood rushed through his ears, and he couldn't hear anything other than his own heartbeat. Ro, are you okay? A warm hand rested on his shoulder as Virgil sat down next to him, holding out a small cup of water. Roman took it into his shaking hands, trying to calm down enough to drink it without spilling it all over himself. Sorry, V. I ruined it. Virgil's eyebrows creased together, and he squeezed Roman's shoulder. Ruined what? This trip. I wanted you to have fun, but all I did was scream and hold on to you I don't know. I'm just sorry. He heard Virgil sigh, and the hand on his shoulder tightened. Come on, Ro. It's okay. Look, that's part of the fun. You didn't ruin anything. Roman sniffed, swallowing around the lump in his throat as he met Virgil's eyes. Really? Virgil smiled softly at him. Really. Look, it's my fault. I know you don't like these kinds of places, and I shouldn't have let you agree so easily. I only realized after I got the tickets that you probably didn't know what you'd agreed to. Roman smiled wobbly. Well, I wanted you to have fun, and you didn't have anyone else to go with you. I really care about you, Virg. Maybe it wasn't the best time for a confession, sitting in a haunted house lobby and fighting back tears, but Virgil didn't seem to mind. A light blush dusted his cheeks and he leaned into Roman, hugging him gently from the side. I care about you too, Ro. What do you think about getting some fast food and then going back to my house and watching some Disney movies? Does that sound good? Roman shakily nodded his head, and then his brain misfired as Virgil leaned in and pressed the lightest kiss to his temple. Yeah, I'd like that. Can we cuddle, too? Virgil took his hand, pulling him to his feet and hooking his arm through Roman's, leaning into him. Whatever you'd like, Ro. I'm here for you. They went through a 24-hour drive-thru, getting cheap, greasy food that shouldn't taste as good as it did, and then Virgil brought them back to his house. His dads were asleep, but they snuck into the basement and put on Moana as they ate. Once they were done, Roman wasted no time snuggling into Virgil's side, eyelids heavy from the stressful night. Virgil pulled him in close, quietly humming along with the movie and lulling Roman into a peaceful sleep. Even before he nodded off, Roman knew he'd be dreaming only blissful dreams. With Virgil holding him, all of his nightmares would be chased far, far away. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to make sure that you don't miss the next videos that I'm going to be posting. And if you like my writing and you want to hear more, you can check out the other videos on my channel, or you can check out my AO3 in the description if you want to read them on your own. See you next time!